Listo. Buenos días, raza.
Ya estamos de regreso otra vez en otro episodio de...
En otro episodio de No, Pues Guau. Buenos días, raza. ¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo están?
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
Buenos
Depende
días,
de la hora
buenas
que nos
tardes,
estés
buenas
escuchando.
noches. Ajá, exactly. Exactly. Estamos en un episodio más de No, Pues Guau. Estamos contentísimas de estar aquí de nuevo. Y hoy vamos a hablar del cambio.
¿Qué es el cambio?
Ambiental. De todo a todo. El cambio y cómo los cambios nos afectan a nuestras vidas. Y cómo aceptar el cambio, las negaciones del cambio, los miedos que vienen con el cambio.
Yeah.
Y cómo han cambiado los años. Ay, no, porque lloro. No te creas. Es cómo han pasado los años, pero yo dije cómo han cambiado los años.
Como que viene
porque
muy emotional hoy la prima.
La neta sí. El cambio es algo tan hermoso.
Es que le cambió la vida.
Me cambió la vida.
¿Quién te cambió la vida?
Nadie.
Nadie.
Yo me cambié. Dios me cambió la vida.
Wow.
Dios me ha bendecido.
Wow.
Me ha dado un cambio en mi vida. ¿Cómo estás, Michelle?
Yo bien al 100.
Eso.
Ready for this tequila that I haven't tried.
Hoy estamos tomando un tequilita llamado 3 Generaciones. Y este tequila yo lo probé cuando tenía... No les voy a decir la edad. No necesitan saber eso. Pero...
We don't need to disclose
that. Pero este tequila está riquísimo. Para los que no lo han probado, check it out. It's the 3 Generaciones. This one is de reposado. I don't usually have reposado, pero we're going to give it a shot today.
All right.
Literally a shot.
We're back with our shot glasses.
La campana, o yo tengo ya la campana y el tambor. ¡Salud!
Salud.
Pronto vamos a sacar el podcast.
Sí, o sea,
Cheers,
una
y'all.
carta de el podcast. Maybe we should launch like our own lotería. You know, la chingona.
Sí, dude,
La
that would be
tóxica.
smart.
Our faces.
Fucking no, dude. Oh. Pues bueno, ya que empezamos con lo primero, con el agua bendita, como dice el dicho.
It's good.
It's smooth.
It is.
Ni lo sientes.
I didn't even have to chase after that.
No, dude, I really didn't either, and I don't know why I did it. De costumbre, pues.
Yeah.
There's some tequilas that you don't have to chase, and this is one of those tequilas that you really don't have to chase.
Yeah, I
But it's
liked
deli, súper delicioso.
Se me hizo rico.
Rico. Anyways, Michelle,
Yeah.
why do we want to talk about change today?
I just, it popped into my head because I feel like it's something that I noticed
Yeah.
a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
I've noticed it, even as again, sorry to make this reference, but I work at a bank. When I used to work for Chase, they launched a new badass ATM that can now be utilized inside instead of using a teller.
Yeah.
And when this was introduced, people were like, "Oh no, I'm going to the teller. I'm going."
Like
they were
panicking.
like they were.
I see that
Like,
a lot.
Dead ass.
Yes.
And they just refused to go to the ATM thing because they were like, no. Like people just did not like change.
Yeah. I think that a big, one thing I did learn in college that was very important, Americans don't like change. They're scared of it. They don't like it. It's not something that's super welcoming. I think for our generations, we do. I love change.
I think we embrace change.
We have embraced change. Sorry, I have to burp, but I was like holding it back and I don't want to burp on fucking camera. We have embraced change in a very different way, our generation. And like things change like this. Like you're looking at it in music, the change and evolution of music, los cambios que pasan tan rápido en la cultura. And like things are changing so fast. And I think that back in the day, things were stagnant for a long time.
Yeah.
They were the same for a long time.
And you know what I think it was too? I am pretty sure it has to do with fear.
Yes.
The fear of change. I don't think change itself, it was a big thing. I think it had to do with the fear of what can...
The risks,
the
unforeseeable future, the inability to see if you're going to fall or fail or not. Yeah. And I think for our generation, it's like, no, fuck that. We're taking the risk. We love failing. Yeah. I love... If you're not failing if you're learning. And so every time you would consider something that
you're not learning if you're not failing.
And you're not learning if you're not failing.
Yeah.
Right. So like these concepts are interchangeable with each other. And for people from our generation and our culture, I think that a lot of people, like my parents, they don't like change. My parents like to keep things the same. Yeah. And a lot of that has to do it's cultural, but it's also religious.
Well, yeah. And it also has to do with like your comfort zone too. You know what I mean? Your comfort zone could be a very nice, cozy place, but there is no growth happening there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And sometimes like, okay, let me tell you this. When people tell you, why fix something that's not broken? Yeah. What's your thought about that?
When someone tells me why fix something that's not broken, that's someone who doesn't have a vision to grow and to make that thing better.
Thank you.
And it's so fucking hard to deal with people like that, because it's like, that's not the circle I want to surround myself by.
And I'm just like, it's not about waiting for it to be broken in order for you to fix it. And you're not actually fixing anything. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for you to grow, to make things better, smoother. And for someone who has that mentality that, oh, don't fix something that isn't broken, I'm just like...
That person is a reactive person, not a proactive person. And there is a big difference between reactive and proactive people. Mm-hmm. Proactive people tend to succeed more in life because even though they fail at one business, they start another one. They're always constantly working and growing towards something. Right. But for me, the idea of proaction is very intimidating as well, because it's like, shit, dude, am I ever going to settle for something? Right. Am I ever going to be happy with something? If you're always proactively reaching a goal or trying to reach a goal. Yeah. And it's the same struggle that I see within my career path. I am pursuing a career that's going to help people. As an attorney, as someone who is pursuing a master's, as someone who is pursuing, all of these different, like, there's a world of career paths that I could choose from. But when am I going to choose the thing that's meant for me? And that's what scares me. Yeah. Like, I embrace change and I love change. And it's something that comes, change for me is a way of God telling me, you're good. Like, this is supposed to happen. And like, I, believe in me, and I love change for that.
I mean, don't you just love that sometimes it's like so unexpected though? It's like, whoa. By surprise. I didn't see this coming.
Oh, and we both have been through things that we did not see coming. Yeah,
exactly.
And how it's shaped our fucking lives.
Exactly. And like now it's changed your perspective. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of thinking about some of those like quotes and things that I have heard, and I'm kind of browsing through it. I'm trying to see if I can find the one that I was
specific to you.
Yeah. And it was something along the lines of like, I've changed a lot, but a lot has changed me in me or something like that. Algo así iba la quote.
I think that's why you and I nos acoplamos, nos queremos tanto, siempre estamos como invertidas en nuestras vidas, güey. Yeah. Porque nosotras queremos crecer, queremos madurar, queremos educarnos, superarnos. Right. Y yo siento que nuestros padres, nuestras generaciones anteriores, era muy difícil porque estabas consiguiendo superarte y yo pienso que la idea de superarte era llegar a los Estados Unidos, conseguir buen trabajo y ganar bien y poder mantener a tu familia.
Yeah, that was like a big win.
Con tal, güey, que pudieras mantener a tu familia, ya estabas ganando. Exacto. Ya eso era el cambio del rancho al trabajo.
Like, wow, we're living in heaven. We fucking did it.
We made the dream. We made the dream. We can support our family. That's it. But I think that, my dad was very different because my dad always pursued something more. And I think a big part of the way I am is because of my dad. He had a produce business. We sold oranges and cherries and shit. He has a towing business. He had a car business. He had a construction business. And it's not like, he's just a trader. He's a jack of all trades, but they say a jack of all trades is a master of none. None. But it's better. Yep. But the saying is not finished there. It's better than being a master of one. And so that's the thing about change, is that when you're constantly changing, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because you're growing and you're developing broad broad skill sets.
Yeah. And I think and also with that saying, I think it has to do with like a master, or what is it? Like
a jack of all trades is a master of none, but it's better than being a master of one.
And I think that when you are learning and you have so many different things that you've done, I don't think you're doing them all at the same time. And I think that saying applies to like, if you're trying to do this and this and this and this, then of course you're not gonna, if you're not focused on one thing and running with it, then I mean, of course you're gonna be like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna be good at, I can't be a fucking construction worker while also being a landscaper. At the same time,
I agree with that concept 100%.
So it's like, take it, run with it, master it, and then continue your growth.
A lot of men that and influencers that like promote business and success and things like that, they're like, you can't try 3 businesses at the same time. Of course not. I get that.
Right.
But you can give it your all. You can be I look at it from a female perspective. I could be a mother. I could be an excellent mother. I could be a cook, a chef. I could be a wife. I could be a successful business owner, and I could be a successful career woman, like a career. Right. I can have a successful career
in your career.
And when I hear someone say like, of course, if you want to get started and if you want to grow a business, focus 100% on that one business, but don't fear change. I feel like if the business isn't working and it's time to change, but you're so stagnant, no, dijeron que me tenía que enfocar en una cosa, a huevo tengo que vender tacos de asada y tus tacos no valen madre, entonces vete a vender tacos de carnitas, güey.
O la de birria, que ahorita está pegando.
No, la de birria, que ahorita está pegando.
El quesabirria taco.
Piensen más en grande, en que no tengan miedo al cambio. No le hice en la jardinería, pero ¿sabes qué? En la pintura soy bien chingona. Sé pintar casas, güey. Pero la jardinería, a lo mejor no tengo la habilidad de diseñar un jardín o un landscape chingón. Entonces yo digo que el cambio intergeneracionalmente es muy distinto. Pero el cambio personal debería de siempre estar abierto a, ok, yo quiero crecer, quiero cambiar. Yo quiero cambiar mi vida. Yo quiero ser más espiritual. Quiero tener una conexión más profunda con Dios. Yo quiero tener una salud más intensa. Quiero ser más buena con mi salud, con mi cuerpo. Y
mientras te tomas un tequilita.
Mientras me tomo un tequilita. Pero eso es agua bendita, eso es muy distinto. O sea, no me chinguen, eso es muy distinto. Pero yo siento en mi corazón que no todos piensan como yo. Y ni como tú. Y yo conozco a más gente que no piensan el cambio como a welcoming thing, pero like, oh no, I'm good here. Like
no,
I got this
job.
I got this job with these bomb ass benefits and I'm set. Like I'm set. And it's like, no. You have potential to do more, to be the best version of yourselves. And I think if college really taught us, you should always aim to be the best version of yourself, I think there would be a lot of industries that wouldn't be alive today.
Yeah. I also do think that there are people that aren't just built for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's some people that are just like, don't have that desire the way that you and I both do.
Yeah.
So it's like for some of those people, like doing what they do is what they love. Yeah. And this is where they like it. And to be quite frank, we can't just all be like go-getters. You know what I mean? Like we need that balance, because if you think about it, if everybody's going out and doing that, then all of a sudden we're going to have like an offset amount of people that are not going to be doing what
they're not going to be working at McDonald's. Yeah, they're not going to be working at Panda. They're not going to be working at fast food industries or retail industries and makeup industries. They're not going to be doing that.
If you're happy doing that,
that's
good for you.
More fucking power to you. Like I've worked in all of those, most of those industries. And I've loved them while I was there, but I knew that it was short term. I knew that it was momentary. I knew that I was going to grow and I was going to do something different with my life.
Right.
And I have a question for you now.
Yeah.
Being the strong and having that natural leadership role that you do have and personality. How have you struggled with people looking at you as a leader? And how have you struggled with people envying your leadership abilities? You're so knowledgeable and you are such a fucking natural leader and educator. And I feel like I've been through these struggles, but how have you dealt with people like,
I think that I'm very easy to come across as a know-it-all.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard that before. I mean, I have heard that before. It wouldn't be the first time.
I don't see you like that. I don't fucking see you like that. You know a lot, but I I go to you for what you know best.
Right.
I'm not going to, hey, Michelle, can you tell me how to change my oil? No. Well, you probably could tell me, but like something that's not in your realm, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, you actually have to do it like this.
I don't pretend like I don't know. No. I'd be like, I fucking don't know. But hey, you know what? Give me a day and I'll find out for you.
Exact. That's that go-getter personality you have.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it comes across as a threat to some. And it very much does. And across my career, I have noticed jealousy, la envidia de otras personas. Pero, okay, como me preguntas a mí esa pregunta, mi respuesta a eso es, you have to be smarter than that and be able to identify that, right? And be able to identify, which is hard. Let me just tell you, at first is very challenging because I used to struggle with, hey, you know what? Like, I'm here and let's do this. And it's so easy and it comes natural to the both of us to step in a room and then just be like, okay, let's take charge and we should just do this and start pitching out our ideas, our suggestions.
Yes.
And just like, how about if we do this, and then everybody just follows.
Yes. And it's not that we want to lead. It's not that, oh, I'm the fucking leader. I'm gonna run this bitch. No. Hell no.
Yeah, right.
But if I walk into a room and I see that shit's unorganized and people don't fucking have their shit together, guess what? I'm going to step up to the fucking plate and I'm going to make sure things are flowing the way they're supposed to be flowing.
Like, you know what? You have a bigger picture of how things can be functioning and how things could be operating. And so then therefore you're like, you know, you bring it to the attention. And then once you suggest those things, people realize that, oh.
Ya, güey, pero sin arrogancia, sin un ego. Eso es lo que yo pienso que la gente a veces no entiende de nosotras, que hay gente que, and I don't come off as someone who has like arrogancia or a big ego. No, fuck that. My ego is shit, is scraps. Like if I really don't think of myself acá de la gran caca. I know, no soy la gran caca, pero yo sé que tengo talentos y simplemente quiero usar los talentos que Dios me ha dado y mis habilidades para hacer las cosas mejor.
And you know, like, since now we're talking about this, I mean, I've never said this before, and I feel like this could be a great opportunity for me to get it off my chest. It's just maybe the way I say things sometimes, or that maybe the way I come across is what maybe causes people to think that I'm very arrogant or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like, I've learned, and here's where I used to be like bien dejada. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't step up for myself a lot of the times, but now, because I know what I offer, I know what I bring to the table.
You've developed the value of, you've understood the value of you.
Exactly. Now I don't take shit.
That's
you know
good.
What I mean? And
no, that's fucking good. And a lot of people, it's taken so fucking long to get
do
their
that
voice.
Yeah. And so basically now what I do is like, well, if I want, let's just say more income, less work, I'm like constantly trying to seek that's what I want. More income, less work. Cause I don't want to trade my hours for dollars. I want passive income. So I'm like, okay, while I try to figure that out, I also want to make sure that I'm advancing my work, my career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I want management. And then sometimes when people don't tell me stuff I like, it's almost like they tell me like you cannot do it, and then it's like, okay, now you're gonna tell me that I cannot do it. So now to prove you wrong, I'm gonna figure out how I can do it in the most polite way.
Y por eso eres mi prima, cabrona. Por eso, güey. Por esos putos ovarios que nos cargamos, la neta.
It's true.
Y yo lo he dicho muchas veces aquí en el podcast, cada vez que me han dicho que no, mi carnal, mi papá, mis familiares o un hombre, especialmente un hombre, que me ha dicho, no, eso no es para ti, no, tú no puedes. No, ¿cómo es posible que vas a hacer esto? Miles de preguntas de ¿cómo vas a estacionar tu camionetón en la ciudad de San Francisco? Güey, la misma forma que voy a sacar un pinche bebé de mi vagina, güey. O sea, la misma forma que voy a parir un hijo. Voy a criar un hijo. Con esa forma. Con esos putos ovarios, ¿ok?
Diles. Have a seat and
tomen
be my guest.
asiento y vean cómo lo hago. Aunque raspe el rin, pero vean con... No, güey, pero neta.
But the point is you did it, right?
O sea, con eso de que no, tú no puedes, a mí en lo personal me ha llevado like, now the fuck I am going to do it.
Yeah.
No por ser culera ni por decir, oh no, I'm going to show you that I'm better or I'm going to show you that I can. It's not that I'm proving anything to anyone but myself.
Right.
Cabrón no me va a venir, perdón, discúlpame,
No.
Este hijo de la chingada no me va a venir a mí a decir lo que puedo y no puedo hacer. Eso viene de Dios. Que Diosito me ponga un alto, ahí quedó. Yo no puedo. Que Diosito me ponga el alto, pero que venga un cabrón a decirme, no, eso no es para ti, tú no puedes, desafortunadamente, no creo que sea ideal para ti. Tú no me conoces, no conoces mis sentimientos y pensamientos, y es lo mismo contigo. Cuando la gente te dice, oh, Michelle, a lo mejor management no es para ti, o esta carrera no es para ti, it sparks something in you to be like, bitch, yes, the fuck it is.
That's only if I'm really interested in it, though.
Right.
That's what
Of
I mean.
course.
You know, because it's like, okay, if it's something that I'm constantly going after and if I'm chasing, like, think about it. Like, there are going to be, when you're doing something that makes your head stick above the crowd, tomatoes are going to be thrown at you, right? And, like, I think I was watching on TikTok, like, Pitbull saying something along the lines of, like, if people aren't hating on you, then you're not doing something significant. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like people are going to have opinions. They're going to talk. They're going to say things regardless of, you know, what they believe. Hold on.
Siempre va a haber el que dirán.
Sí, exacto.
Siempre va a haber alguien
That's
que va a
what I was
decir, eso no le acopla, no le queda. Esa camisa Tita no le queda. O esos pantalones de pinche Carhartt que siempre me cargo. No le quedan, como que no van con su look. Ese pelo no le queda. Me vale madre.
¿Que te la pelen?
Iba a decir me la pelan, pero no quería sonar así. Pero me la pelan, o sea, neta. Y yo siento que por eso de me la pelan no es de arrogancia. Es que no se metan con mi vida. No es que, oh, no, yo soy más chingona, se los voy a... No. That's not what we're talking about when we're talking about things like this and our leadership abilities.
Because you know you have something to offer. And you know that's the beautiful thing. Because, hey, you know what? You have a strong suit on something. And you have the ability to perform.
Yes.
Why not use it and take advantage of that? And
yes.
Companies will, just so you know. Like companies, they're going to see your potential. They're going to see your abilities. And then they're going to be like, we want this person. Now, that's where you got to be smarter and be like, okay, is this what I really want to do? Like, do I really want to focus my time and energy in this company because this is what I love to do? Then go for it.
They're going to use you. It's a matter of, are you willing to let yourself be used?
Yes.
Are you willing to go about that change that they're going to use you more responsibilities, put more on your plate? Companies are fucking smart. They're always worried about their best interest at heart. They're always worried about their best interest. They don't give a shit about your best interest. Some companies do. Like my brother, he's like, yeah, our company, it's like, we're like a family. I was like, you're like a family until you're fucking not like a family. You're like a family until there's something that you just did that isn't convenient for them.
Right.
Or you're like a family until you ask for a raise when you well deserve a raise and they're like, no, not right now. Sorry. That's when you're not like a family.
And, you know, unless you have the mentality of like, okay, you know, and I find that a lot of, you know, the old school people like have that mentality of like, you got to put your time into a company and then you do it and then like you'll retire.
I don't agree with that.
I think that things are changing.
Yeah.
And that's not the case anymore.
Yes.
And it's kind of scary even for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we don't know without that structure with the companies and stuff like that, what will happen. But at the same time, there's always going to be those people that and I don't want to offend anybody. Like, please don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah, me ofendiste this way.
But there are going to be people that don't have what it takes.
Yeah.
To venture outside of that role that they're in
their company,
company, and then they're going to continue to drive that company.
Dude.
Exactly, and
that's okay.
We're not trying to put those people down. You know what I mean? If you like love what you do and
you
you're
love
in
the company that you work for, you're happy with the company that you work for.
Exactly.
Chido, güey. Pero a mí en lo personal no es la misma. No es el mismo camino, güey.
Yeah, I guess we're trying to aim this to those people that have that personality of like stepping into a room and you want to take lead, but while at the same time putting your head down when it's time to learn. You know what I mean?
Being humble in the time of education. Being humble when someone's like, hey, listen, you made me feel like this. I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. And I think that we're not talking about change to like make you guys feel like, oh, wow, they're always changing and they're always growing and they're always being better. It's like, no, I'm talking about personal experiences. The amount of change in my life that has happened in the last year And I think a lot of people went through that with COVID, but in the last year, it's been fascinating. Like, I'm in awe. I'm like, God, you have a perfect plan for me. And I have complete faith in you that whatever it is that you want for me, I'm going to have. And whatever it is that your plan is for me, I'm going to have. All I ask of you is to be patient with me and guide me. Mm-hmm. And I think that when we're talking about change, we're talking about how change has affected our lives in lo personal and how we deal with change. But also like the struggles that I personally go through con mis familiares, con mi familia, que ellos no quieren cambiar o actualizarse or anything like that. It's like, no, I'm going to let you believe what you want to believe. I'm going to be there for you. But also you have to understand, we're changing. Sí, it's not the same.
Porque vamos a decir, si tú te quedas con esa mentalidad, van a pasar los años volando. Y si tú te quedas atrás, allá es literalmente donde te vas a quedar atrás. Como por ejemplo, I was talking to, like 5 years ago, I was talking to a customer.
Hace como 30 años estaba hablando con un camarada.
Así que vino a la tienda y como que le estaba diciendo y fíjate.
No, it was funny to me when she said 5 years ago. Hace como 10 años estuve hablando con un güey y me dijo que...
Yeah. I was like, Ari, do you have a web page or can you find your services on Google or whatever? He's like, no, I'm all word of mouth. And I said, your business is bound to go out of business if you're not on the internet. And the experts are saying if your business is not on the internet in the next 5 years, you're going to go out of business.
Yes.
Think about it. Social media. How do you find places nowadays?
Dude.
TikTok. I travel anywhere.
Everywhere. TikTok.
And I'm like, hey,
literally.
What is there to do here? That's where I go search. And then this guy came back and said, no. La que jamás va a cambiar is the word of mouth. I'm like, yeah, but word of mouth is
se muere.
Only gonna get you so far.
Yeah. Your market is going to be very minimal. Right. It's going to be the word to mouth market.
Yeah.
And the word to mouth market isn't something that's growing. It's decreasing.
Because think about it. Before you ask someone now, you're going to go do the research yourself.
The social markets are changing. Everything is on social media. Right. It's online. So like if the word to mouth market is, no estás en el pueblo, güey. No estás en el rancho.
Exacto.
Ya no es lo mismo. Llegas a un pueblo, hay muchos pueblos que les falta development y todo que siguen pueblos. Chido. Ahí sí puedes triunfar. Pero si estás en una ciudad, güey, no vas a triunfar si no te actualizas o aceptas ese cambio de puta. A mí no me gusta el Facebook, pero a lo mejor en Facebook voy a poder conseguir trabajo. My dad, too, with Google, he has a towing company. Membrilla Towing, if you guys don't know, please go. If you ever need a tow, Membrilla Towing, support. Pero mi papá siempre nos pide ayuda a nosotras, ¿no? A las hijas. Y dijo, mija, pues dicen que en Google me pueden encontrar y si me saco una licencia o algo así, dijo, puedo hacer con el sherife y puedo acarrear carros con las aseguranzas. Le dije, papi, qué bueno, because like easily he increased his business by like 30 to 40% because he was on Google. Oh, I found you on Google. Oh, I found you on here. And it's like, oh, thank you for finding me on Google. I told him, papi, tell them que pongan un review. Si hiciste buen trabajo, pídeles que hagan un review en Google para que la gente... And he's like, oh, es que nos estaban evangelizando. Mi papá, si algún día están en la camioneta...
The life of a preacher.
He's a preacher. So if you're ever in a tow, if he's ever towing your car and you get in the fucking tow truck with him, be ready to be evangelizado. Not in a very like evangelical way, like I'm judging you, you better follow the Bible. It's like, no, my dad is very different, super conversational.
Right.
Pero
you have a conversation with a man and then he follows up with a teaching about life.
Yes.
And then it says like he'll be having a like Christian is like I love going on walks with like your tío, you know, like he's just so knowledgeable. Like they'll be having a conversation,
even about mecánica,
or whatever. And then your dad is like quotes the Bible. Oh, quotes the Bible. Actually, it's like blah, 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 blah.
Sí,
Mateo 3 blah blah blah.
Mateo 3 versículo 5 dice y tú dirás y harás y todo y you're like, oh, bro, we were talking about gallinas dejando los huevos y tú sacaste otra cosa. But
then he's
that
like,
kind of evangelism.
And he's like, y las gallinas ya saben todo lo que van a hacer porque Dios nuestro Señor ya, you know what I mean? Like they said that they're gonna lay the eggs porque en la Biblia dice que blah blah blah. Like he's awesome that way, you know what I mean?
Yes, but going back to change. Sorry, I was sidetracked. Y no hay pedo. If we get sidetracked, no hay problema. Pero,
I mean, you guys are used to it by now.
You should be. Fuck. Pero sí, él fue aclimatándose al cambio. Le dije, la neta, esto es el futuro. Google es el futuro. TikTok. We made him an Instagram. Please, if you have an Instagram, go follow him.
I'll link his information.
And honestly, if you guys are enjoying this episode, a little brief pause. If you're enjoying this episode, share it with a friend. Share it with a friend who you might think could benefit from it. Because honestly, we're trying to grow. We're trying to get merch out, but we have to invest. And to be able to, we have to sell at least 100 hoodies. And we want to get that merch out and be able to have merch for you guys. Yeah. So we need more following. We need more people to watch us.
Yeah,
and please. We hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Anyways, pause and now.
Yeah, but think about it. Like when you're looking for something, you're not calling someone there and asking. You're more than likely going on Google. You're more than likely going on Yelp or TikTok or wherever it is that now you are doing your research before you pick up a phone and call somebody.
Even choosing a restaurant, I always go on Yelp. Like, oh shit, I want Thai food. Where is a good Thai food? A good Thai spot.
Right.
Especially if you're in a place where you're not from, like SF. If you're in SF and you're just visiting, or if you're in Half Moon Bay. Oh shit, let me look at the Yelp reviews and see like what's good, what's not.
And that's what's basically going to attract your customers, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to tell this person, but like he was so stuck on, hey, word of mouth is all I need and no advertisement. That's like, I wonder right now, I wonder where he's at, because it's been right about the 5 years, you know what I mean? And I'm like, like, you know, like nowadays it's so even more advanced, and that is why you always need to embrace that change, because you need to be able to learn the change, ride the wave. And you always have to think smarter than that, right? Because you gotta be like, okay, this is what it is now. Yeah. And how am I going to adapt to it? What am I going to do to, change with it? And how do you turn that into my own benefit?
Exactly. And
how is this going to benefit me?
Yeah. And I think that it's so easy for people like Michelle and I to have that mentality, because we have this like constant growth mentality. Right. How can I be better? But not everybody has that mentality though. People are like, oh no, bro, I'm good. I have this and that. I'm set. I have this job. I'm set. And I've like I said, I've met a lot of people like that. And it's like,
that's awesome for you.
It's awesome for you. But are you really happy? Is it really what you want? Are you really reaching your fullest potential? Right. And for me, the most heartbreaking thing to see is someone with so much potential not exercising it because they're happy with what they've settled for where they're at. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame, because there's a lot of people with a lot of talents out there that don't exercise those talents because they are afraid of change. Mm-hmm. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid of not being able to foresee the future. Mm-hmm. It's like, no. If I've learned anything, I'm a master fucking planner. Mm-hmm. Y si he aprendido algo en la vida, si me muero mañana ya me morí a gusto, ya tengo la mamá, no, ya me morí a gusto. Tenía mi perro, yo quería hijos, pero a lo mejor Dios no quiso. Ya estoy bien. Pero I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just think that people need to start looking at change as opportunity. Yeah. And not as something maybe not to be afraid as change. Of. Exactly. And I think it has to do with the fear factor, like I was sharing in the beginning. I think people are scared, and people need to stop being scared of change. And I get it. You know what I mean? It's not what you want, because maybe you have something so good. Like something so good that you're afraid that it's going to be ruined, or you're afraid that things are going to be different and worse. But the thing is like, okay, when you have something so good and then something happens, you just have to make sure that you remain strong, that you remain focused, that you keep doing what you're doing, and don't allow the change to change your strong thoughts and your beliefs. And as long as you continue to push forward, sometimes you have to see what you reaped, because you reap what you sow. Right. So you have to see what it is that you have now cosechado. Sí. And you have to keep going. And if life was to be like, okay, you're born, you go through some struggles, and then you're good, life would be boring. Boring as fuck.
And you need
Honestly.
those changes. And you know, sometimes you have your loved ones, and then you're like, oh my gosh, you value them, you treasure them, you just don't want anything to happen to them. And sometimes you can get overprotective, but sometimes you also do need to understand that they're writing their own life, they're writing their own story. And as long as you always focus on you and you always deliver the best of you and continue your own self-development, your self-growth, and keep going and pushing, the good things are gonna come.
Yeah,
they're gonna come. Like if you continue to focus on that, what you know, the law of attraction, you know, what you they asked, I want to say, I don't know if it was Warren Buffett or one of the millionaires, you know what I mean? Like they asked him.
Uno de como 20, porque son como 20 que manejan todo el puto mundo.
Uno de esos.
Uno de esos hijos de su puta madre.
Uno de esos que tiene el billuyu, como dices
el billuyu.
El billuyu. Uno de esos le preguntan, how did you get to be a millionaire? And, you know, he just said, I thought about it all the time. So you got to think about what you're thinking. You know what I mean? Like now you got to actually think. And that's
Tengo
something
chichis. Tengo chichis. No, sí las tengo.
Quiero chichis más grandes.
No,
quiero
sí las
chichis
tengo.
más grandes.
Oh, yo pensé que... Oh, ¿te las ponen?
No, yo quiero chichis más grandes.
No, yo dije, tengo chichis. Así para pensar que tengo chichis y a lo mejor sí tengo.
No, o sea, you got to think about like what you want. Tengo chichis. It's not just going to happen, okay?
En la cara, puto.
Okay, perfect example.
I'm just kidding.
It's not just going to happen, right? You got to think about like what it is
how
that
you're
you
going to get to those
and
chichis.
And then guess what? Yeah. Once you think about everything that you want, the how is going to... If you all constantly tell yourself, I cannot... So I learned a little bit of...
it's impossible for me.
I learned a little bit of psychology because, you know, it's also one of my majors. But in psychology... And the way that your brain works, you know, your brain is wired differently. So you got to think about like, okay, instead of thinking of, no, I cannot, well, now this cannot happen. The more that you say cannot, can't, won't happen, I can't do it, it's not gonna happen. It's literally, it's gonna be all of those. Why? Because that's
you're
what
attracting that fucking energy
that's
in your life.
what you keep saying. So and until you change that kind of mentality and until you start changing that thought process, you know, you got to think about, instead of a no, how can I? And I actually learned this in, I want to say, a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I want to say.
Yeah. Con Robert
Kiyosaki. I don't know if it was that book or Kiyosaki. It was el libro que te recomendé,
the Magic of Thinking Big.
The Magic of Thinking Big.
Yes.
If you shift that thought process into thinking no versus how can I, then now that gets your brain going.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you say no, then it's a no. But if you turn it into how can I, then your brain starts to process all these different thoughts of trying to figure out what you need to do or what must happen in order for you to have that done. And if you really, really, really want it,
si la neta lo quieren,
then you gotta also be willing to step out of that comfort zone. You know what I mean? Because you know, sometimes a lot of people want a lot of things and then they think about it and then they can't figure it out and they're stuck and they're like, well, I think about it and I'm stuck and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, maybe you gotta think further.
How are you gonna get to where you want to be? What is the path? Like,
you gotta think further.
But Michelle too, like, think about it. A lot of people, they struggle with not understanding. They know where they want to go, but they don't know how to get there. And they rely on a lot of influencers and people to tell them, like, with business, with success, with just coaching in general, and like they rely on those things. But it's like, how do you figure out how you're going to get there?
You got to stop. You got to step back. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go and get educated, figure it out so that you can get back to that same place where you were.
Yeah.
You got to be creative. It's essentially what I'm trying to say. You got to be creative. Okay. You know what? I want to be able to
build a tiny house. One example.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea. Okay. You know what? I'm going to start doing some research. What do I have to do? Oh, shoot. I need to have a trailer.
I need this. I need that. Permits.
I need to learn about insulation. Fuck. I actually did a project in high school and we built a tiny house. So I can kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
all right, so now you got to think about this. And now you want to make sure that in every step of the way that you're doing and that you're building your tiny house,
electrical is following
that you
code.
make sure exactly that you're building everything properly. Yes. And so you don't know about electrical. It's like when I was building my fucking vanity up there, I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yes.
I got 3 separate lights and I got to wire them together into like this plug thing. And then I want a dimmer, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Guess what I did? That was my longest project.
Yeah.
It took me months. Yeah. Literally, like almost, I want to say 6 months.
Her vanity, you guys, we'll show it to you one day. It's so fucking nice.
It's not it's not the like best out there because I made it, but at the time that I made it, it was badass.
No, bro, but for being a fucking hoe built vanity,
it's
not
pretty
something
good.
You fucking buy on Amazon or something that was already built. She built that from the fucking ground up. Like she wired everything, all of todos los cables, todo, los focos, todo. She didn't make the focos, but she like wired everything together and built it. Yeah. So it's pretty fucking impressive, dude.
And that's what I mean. Like you just have to think about it, do the learning, invest in yourself, because that's literally you investing in you.
Learning, but you don't even have to see it like that. Just learning within itself, learning a new trade. You're investing in your mindset, in your knowledge.
Right. And if you're scared from the get-go, like if you're thinking, oh my God, I can't do it. Like I'm not good at that. The more that you keep saying that, remember, the more that it's going to be that way.
You're attracting that energy.
Exactly. So when you're saying things like, oh, well, I'm just not good at that. You know, no, you just have to shift that into thinking, okay, I'm not the best at this, but how can I be the best at it?
How can I be better? How can I
rock it?
How can I make it?
Regardless of how don't even bring the word bad into the picture. Don't even think about like, oh, I suck or I'm not the best or not, like, no, like how can I just,
I think the first thing to a how can I question is eliminating the first step to that of how can I is eliminating the fucking how can I not, eliminating the negative,
right?
Because only then will you be able to not have that fucking that weight of negativity in your mind. Like, no, fuck that. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to pretend like we have every single ability to do this. Yep. We're going to pretend. And even if you have to pretend, no, you know what? I'm going to pretend I can do this. And then once you pretend, that pretense is starting to become reality in your life.
You're thinking about it like a seed that you're planting.
Exactly.
And that the more you think about that, that's what you're watering is what you're growing, right? And so if you want something, is because something within inside yourself or somewhere in there, in your brain, in your heart, en tu cuerpo,
en tu puercaso, güey, en tu puercaso que yo tengo.
Sí, ese cuerpecito que te cargas.
Ese puerquecito. Yo tengo un puerquecito.
Anyways, si te dice, necesitas hacer algo, and then you think about it, and then you're like, fuck, but I can't, like, I don't think I can do it. I don't know if I can. Like, I fucking suck at this. It's because deep inside you know you have the potential.
A lo mejor es la hueva.
Exactly.
A lot of it is laziness. Exactly. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of it is la hueva. Like, oh, no puedo. And in the back of your head, it's like, nah, no mames, no lo quiero hacer.
See, because you think about all that. I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, what do I have to do to get there? And it's like,
oh, it's too much work. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, like, then I have to go do this and do this and do this.
La hueva es maligna, güey. Maligna, güey. La hueva es lo que te impide llegar a tu mejor potencial.
Exacto.
Es demónico, güey. Es satánico. La hueva es satánica, güey. O sea,
if you just like take a deep breath and say, you know what? My later self will thank me.
Yes,
if
bitch.
you just think that way,
yes.
Look back, and then every time, sometimes I'm like, fuck, I have to do my laundry. I'm like my Michelle from a week from now. It's gonna thank me. Sometimes I still don't do it, but hey, listen, we're working on it, okay? It's baby steps.
No estamos hablando después de lavar la ropa, pero estamos hablando de cómo superarte en una escala más grande, ¿no? En un tema más profundo que lavar la ropa.
Ustedes captan lo que estamos
tratando de decir. Y no es tirada para nadie, para nada. Es más bien abrirle los ojos.
And maybe you need to hear this.
Thought about that. Maybe in this moment in your life, you need to hear something like this.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but here it is.
There was this Wild and Out thing where it's like my ex-girlfriend sounded like an owl.
What?
My ex-girlfriend sounded like an owl.
What does that have to do with that?
You have to say who.
Oh, who? Wait, what? I'm so confused.
There was this thing on Wild and Out where it's like, yeah, my ex-girlfriend sounded like an owl. And the girl was like, who? To the guy, because she was like jealous or defensive. And then she was like, who?
Oh,
that's like an owl.
I'm so confused. I'm Wild and Out. I don't know. Is that like the MTV show?
Sorry, that's my ADHD kicking in.
I was like,
my bad.
Wait, that threw me off so much.
No, but you said someone. How did I come about that? Who? Did you say who?
No.
When did you say who?
Or did I?
I think you did. I don't know. We'll fucking replay this and we'll figure it out. But anyways,
I was like, wait, what?
I think change is something that's very difficult to come about.
Yeah.
But it's the chasing of change that is very powerful within itself.
Yeah.
When you're looking at public policy, how fucking hard it is to change government.
Oh my God.
How fucking hard. That's a whole nother can of worms that I don't want to unpack.
Impossible. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to compare the Constitution to the Bible, because the Bible was established so long ago that's basically like what religion lives by. And that is what it rules them. That is what tells them what to do. And even though times have changed, they are unwilling to adapt.
I think the Catholic Church has adapted a little bit, and it's like working towards more adaptation to like modern times.
Exactly.
But I also think that it's very similar to the fucking Constitution, and like changing government. It's not in the benefit of it's not in the benefit of people in power, people up top.
Right.
It's not. And so it's so hard. They've come to like these, it's hidden behind policy after policy and regulation after regulation, that if you want to change systematic racism, or if you want to eliminate it, or if you want to fight for change to do a more equal thing for women and for all kinds of different things, it's so fucking hard. And I think that could be parallel to like someone's life. You have all of these barriers that are preventing you from changing, and you have to learn how to eliminate those barriers. You have to learn how to eliminate those fucking regulations to get where you want to go and be able to actually enact that change, to be able to come to that change and grasp it.
Right.
And in your life, analyze the fucking barriers that you're setting for yourself. There's some barriers that are external, but there's a lot of barriers that are internal. Barriers that you fucking cannot control. Some barriers you can't control, but you can go around. You can jump over. You can move away from.
You figure it out.
Figure it the fuck out. Figure out what the barriers are in your life that are preventing you from changing to becoming the best version of yourself. I know my barriers are myself, my thoughts, my insecurities. My insecurities are my fucking barriers sometimes. Fuck, dude, it's hell of intimidating. But you know what? Fuck it. And a big part for me is like, me la pelan. Yo puedo. Tengo varios. Tengo miedo, como dijo el cabrón de Ciudad Juárez. Tengo miedo, pero tengo ganas. Y soy chingona. Y se me olvida lo chingona que soy. And for me personally, in my culture, that's what's helped me. Me la pelan y soy la mera.
Don't let fear guide you.
Like that. And so when I say things that are like supportive like that to my brain, then I'm like, okay, fuck this. Fuck fearing this. I can do it. This barrier ain't shit. On to the next barrier to get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about change and how it impacts our lives and how it can impact your life. And we are so beyond happy to be in another episode.
Yeah.
What do you think, Meech?
This was a great episode, because I think that it is definitely a topic that people sometimes are like even scared to talk about.
Yeah. Fear of the topic of change within itself.
Exactly. But I just basically said all my thoughts, everything that I wanted to say up as far as like change, and I really hope that you are listening to this and maybe reflecting on some of the habits, some of the ideology, some of the, beliefs that you have, because remember that, and I guess I could just end with this, that remember your thoughts, what you constantly think of is what you believe, because you start to believe what you think. And then what you think is what becomes your belief. As I just said, your thoughts become your beliefs.
And it's what shapes your life.
What you believe is how is your destiny determined by, basically. Yeah. So your thoughts become your beliefs become your destiny, because whatever you believe in is what is going to determine your actions and your character, and your character becomes your destiny.
Exactamente.
So when you think about, and this is something that I practice with myself. Sometimes I fail because nobody's perfect, but this is what I do. Whenever I have a bad thought, I try to be aware of it. I say, Michelle, you're having a bad thought. Let's take a pause. I stop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't care where I'm at, what I'm doing. I said, stop, think back. What did you just say? Change that around and move forward. Change it. And sometimes it takes a lot of willpower to do so, and being aware of your thoughts.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a 24/7 job, but it starts there. And that's where it starts. And remember
it starts with will.
Exactly.
The will to be able to change.
It's just momentarily. And then once you're able to train your brain into thinking that way, think of your brain as a dog that you have to train.
Yeah.
Out of old habits into new ones.
Yeah.
And as long as you remain consistent and as long as you don't give up, and you also have to find what is going to help you whenever you're giving up. Like maybe even record yourself, write something down that you're going to write in a good moment when you're feeling good.
Yes.
Write this down, or record yourself that you want to tell yourself when you're trying to give up, and remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing and what you need to hear. Essentially write it down, record it out. And whenever you're like going back down, replay that shit.
Remember that happy moment.
Reread that.
Yes.
And then, figure out what
you are now reading this because you're struggling. And let me tell you something. You are more powerful than that struggle. You are stronger than it. Like write something in your notes that's going to empower you. So when you read it, be like, this is the best side. This is the best version of yourself speaking to you right now.
Exactly.
You're going through it, and listen. It's okay. And like, doing small things like that are going to help you get through those tough fucking times.
You know yourself better than anybody, and only you can tell you what you need to hear.
Yes. Sometimes people need guidance, of course.
Don't lie to yourself. But be real.
Yeah.
And do all of those things and move forward.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You could do it. I believe in you. We believe in you.
We believe in you. Yeah. Like we believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we love you guys so much. Again, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, subscribe, share it with a friend. The best thing you can do is share it with a friend to support us so we can start slowly but surely growing. La neta, because we love what we do and we wouldn't be here without you guys. And we want to reach a bigger group of people.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Los amamos. Hasta pronto. Saludos.